All right. Man, sorry to break anybody away from the exciting Buffalo Bills-Ravens matchup,
Yeah,
but
this game is crazy.
we need to vent.
We do. We do. There's some things
There
to
was
vent about.
a lot to be said about that football game that the Denver Broncos and Tennessee Titans played. What was your instant reaction to that game?
Oh, I had a lot, man. I had a lot of instant reactions. The instant one is always the least credible, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because you're just sitting there like irrational, making the
Oh,
crazy statements. But what I will say after thinking about it, because the only thing of my initial reaction that I feel like I actually do currently feel like is still true
hmm
is that Sean Payton was completely 100% experimenting this entire game. I really genuinely believe that. I think he was just out there trying to try a bunch of different things and see what works, what didn't work, and just put as much as they possibly could on film. And they also kind of seemed like they were looking ahead a little bit to Indy in preps for that game, maybe not wanting to tip their hand or put too much on it. But it was ugly, man. It was ugly. It was the worst coached game that Sean Payton's had since he's been here. That was the worst game Bo Nix has played as a Bronco. And I don't really grade the first like 8 games of his rookie season because I feel like you need at least 8 games to start giving a sample size. And thank God we have an unbelievable defense that held a terrible Tennessee Titans team that's coached even an awful coach to -2 yards in the second half to be able to pull the win off. So those are kind of my instant reactions, man. But obviously happy to get a win. It's always nice to start off 1-0. What are your thoughts? What was your instant reaction on that?
man, it was just like it was such a mix because it was like I'm so happy football's back. The Broncos, it's going crazy. My wife's at the game. Everybody's excited. And then it's just like, well, that's annoying. Like the whole game, like the first drive that Tennessee had, like we're about to sack him and he throws a little dump off and then ends up getting the first down. Like nobody's there to tackle, and it was like, okay, that's annoying. Whatever, give up three. All right, well, we're just getting
Yeah.
started. Whatever, and
Yep.
it just was like one after another. It's just one thing. I mean, that's about the worst you could probably ever play and the dumbest you could ever like make decisions and still come out with a win. To have that many turnovers, that many dumb decisions and still somehow win that game. And it's just because the defense like
Mhm.
held up their end,
Yeah.
you know?
For sure, man. And like I said, I mean, I know it might sound crazy that like, oh, why would an NFL coach actually be like, you know, experimenting on a team or trying to do these things? And it's not as crazy as you think it is. Like I don't know if that's actually what happened, obviously in full, but I've never seen Sean Payton do anything like that. Like the whole game was so disorganized. It was weird. They had like no plan. Everything that they talked about they wanted to get better at, they didn't really do any of it. They showed like, okay, small little spurts here and there, but it was absolute insanity. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I was thinking to myself, there was a point in the game where I was just like, I don't even give a shit anymore, dude. I just want to win.
Right.
I'm gonna say I want
Yeah.
this game to be over. And I want to win, and I want to move on. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think when you're 1-0 and you don't play well, there's always so much to learn and so much to get better at. I expect for them to continue to grow. But what was there anything that like really surprised you today?
I was surprised Bo was played that kind of frantically and threw a couple of the balls. He did the first pick. I was like, okay, that was a 50-50. Cortland probably should have caught that, but the guy made a good play. And most of the time, that's just going to get broken up. The second pick, though, was like, you shouldn't have thrown that. Like, why'd you throw that? And I understand, like, somebody's about to hit you, but that was surprising. I was surprised mainly by like some of just overall the decision making. Sean Payton, Darren Rizzi, what is happening? You guys are like super experienced and like why would you the one that drove me absolutely crazy was the one when we finally took the lead at the end of the first half and you're like, "Okay." And then you punted to them or kicked it off to them
I
and
know.
let them return it. And I'm like, "In what world would you be like, hey, this is a good idea to let them return it, and then we'll
Yeah.
down them at the 20, and then what's going to happen then? Nothing's going to
Yeah.
happen. You can only hurt
Exactly.
yourself.
And in the beginning of the game, they did the opposite, right?
Yeah.
They kicked it out of bounds.
Yeah.
And my whole thing is like, okay, in certain situations, like let's say you're playing, I don't know, let's say it's just a really good opponent. It's a close game. You're thinking, all right, I'm gonna kick it off short. I believe in my special teams unit. We can take an extra 8 to 9 seconds off the clock and maybe pin them back because if you're playing Josh Allen or somebody, they can get down in field goal range in 2 plays. But we absolutely demolished them just like 5 minutes before. I mean, there's no way in hell, no chance that Brian Callahan would have even thought about throwing the football. He was kneeling that ball and he was getting his ass to the locker room. And so you just got to know that. Kick the goddamn ball out of the end zone. Don't give him a chance. It was crazy. And then at the end of the game, right, you have a chance to kick a field goal or punt it. Either decision, I'm fine with. Both make sense. You can justify it, no problem, right? Because even I was thinking, man, I would kick it, just go for the win. You still trust the defense enough, right? Plus, they got to score a touchdown. Plus, they got to get a 2-point conversion. Or you can punt it. The last thing that you want to do is go for it. And then if you decide to go for it, taking a stupid shot play makes no sense. I mean, mind-blowing. And that's why I'm thinking, man, like, it was just weird. And then even Sean Payton's reaction in the post-game presser was very strange. It was almost like, yeah, it was fine. Like, he was a little bit upset about some things, but it is what it is. They won, and they're moving on. And so it's like, they talk about the first month of the season kind of being an extended preseason. I really felt like this coaching staff took that to heart and said, we kind of have a gimme game here. Let's just try to go out there and get as many reps as we can and see if we can get better.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things when you the dust clears, you'll be like, okay, we won and we've got a lot of teaching moments to learn on, which is good, right? I'm glad that didn't happen against the Chargers or the Chiefs or the Raiders or some divisional game that was super, coming down to it. But at the end, so we won, and that's okay, so, winning heals everything. But good gosh, that was some of the worst decision. I don't know. The thing that drives me nuts is okay, this is going not as planned, right? It started out really smooth, Bo's driving, and then some stuff happens. And then sometimes when you're playing sports, you just go, okay, this is a weird game, and I just need to be safe and do the right thing here and just not get dumb.
Yeah.
And instead of that, they were like, screw it, let's just keep doing crazy.
Exactly.
It hasn't been
That's
working,
why it was weird.
Let's keep doing it. Because
Sean does the opposite of that all the time. Last year, I give him so much credit. There was so many times where you're just he's doing whatever the hell he felt like was right to just get a win. He doesn't give a shit if it's pretty. He's just trying to get a win. And he did that masterfully. I mean, I think the team as a whole, for the most part, did a really good job of that. Did not care in this game. He didn't. I even look at the Saints game last year on Thursday night, right? When they had all their backups and everybody was injured. And we played fine, but we were just conservative. We didn't want to give them any additional opportunities. And we knew if we did that, we would win with no problems. This game was strange. And then another thing too, man, is I felt like Bo Nix was very intentionally, whether he was being consistently talked, he was intentionally not running.
Right.
And I can appreciate that because I know that's something that is a part of the development, right? Of getting better, of, flipping your hips and going through all your reads. And I get that. But he was making it a concerted effort because it was so many times. It was dude, that's the easiest first down. If he just takes off, he did a million times last year.
Yep.
And so, and I know that they talked about they want Bo running a lot less this year. So it was this was their opportunity to emphasize those little things, there with Bo Nix and his development too. So it was all very weird. Bo Nix's reaction was even weird. He seemed extra juiced up. Was it just me, or did he? I felt I was dude, is this guy on crack today? I liked it. I loved the fire, but with Bo last year, when you see that fire, it wouldn't translate negatively to his play. He'd still be very calm and cool. He was just erratic. He was he looked like Jay Cutler out there a little bit. He was just slinging. He didn't give a shit, dude. He was just looking, throwing.
It felt, yeah, you're right. No, it felt like he started pressing, right? It's things, now this didn't go well, and now like, oh, now there's a penalty. Like you could see the frustration every time a flag was thrown. Last year he just didn't even react. He was just like, okay, now I guess it's 1st and 20 or whatever. This time he was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like he was super frustrated in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost was like, how everybody, so Jeffrey Simmons before the game, he made that comment about, oh, we know that Bo Nix, if he doesn't have his first read, he's just going to take off and run.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was almost like that was some 4D chess by Jeffrey Simmons, because it was like, Bo was like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to hold it forever and I'm not going to run. And you're like, dude, just freaking get the first down, do whatever you need to do. Don't why and then then he had a screaming match with Jeffrey Simmons in the middle of the game. And just like, bro, just don't worry about it. Just win. You know what I mean? Like, I like the fire, but
Yeah.
sometimes it was too much.
It was weird, man. And like I said, I mean, one thing I really praised him, I think we all did a lot last year too, was like he would rarely make the same mistake twice, right? He would screw up and then you see, okay, he doesn't really do that again. It was like, he threw the first pick, which I didn't hate the first one that much. I mean, he definitely was late and he floated it a little bit, but you're really giving Sutton a 50-50 ball. Mm-hmm. I'll take my chances there. I mean, Sutton could have had it, but it was a really good play by the DB. Like Sutton grabbed it, but the DB ripped it. Fine. No problem. Then he gets the terrible pick. Oh, then he fumbles. Then he gets the terrible pick. And then there was 3 or 4 consecutive passes that I'm like, dude, those are all could have been intercepted. Like it could have been a pick 6. Another one could have been picked, but it ended up being pass interference. But it's like, okay, it was pass interference, but that's a terrible decision. Yeah. And it was like, that was really weird to see from him. So listen, I'll give him a pass on one game, obviously, right? If the offense came out and looked phenomenal, I think I'd say the same thing of it's week 1. Our team's going to look way different in week 10, whether better or worse. And I still feel that that's the same, but I really hope that doesn't become a habit where it's like once it spirals, it really starts to spiral, because I didn't really see a reason for that today. I thought the O-line was fine. So yeah, but like I said, it's one game. I'll definitely give him a pass. And I'm not going to overly blow out Bo Nix's performance from that.
Yeah,
so.
No, I mean, again, okay, if you go 2 years ago, or 3 years ago when he was first game ever for Oregon, he got curb stomped by Georgia. And then our first 2 games last year, he was panicky a little bit and throwing into some crazy stuff or whatever. I just feel like it hasn't been real live football for a while. And I don't think we did a good job of getting him time in the preseason to kind of warm up. Everything looked a little, for whatever reason, Jarrett Stidham looked super clean and stuff was open and all this stuff. And then when Bo got in there, they were trying stuff, and I don't know. They're not cohesive right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it just felt off today. And thank goodness the defense stepped up. I mean, honestly, the special team sucked and the offense sucked for the most part. There was obviously highlights, there was good parts of both, but that when Marvin Mims muffed the punt and then they jumped on it, and then we got 2 huge sacks back to back to kick them out of field goal range where they should have just took the lead if they would have just ran it twice. That was the flip of the game, because they would have put pressure on us to now go back and have to take the lead. Mm-hmm. And that Jonah Ellis sack was so huge.
It was so good too, dude.
Oh, dude, he was fighting
off. Was so good.
Yeah.
You know what was so weird, man? So I was thinking about it when I was driving back home today. I was like, everything that I was at least worried about, or had a lot of questions of going into this game, right? I had some questions about the interior of the offensive line. I had some questions. Obviously, Jeremy Crawshaw was the big question mark. And then I had some questions about how's that inside linebacker depth going to look? And all of those looked phenomenal. I thought the offensive line as a whole Obviously, they had their moments, but they looked really good. I thought they were run blocking well. They kept Bo protected for long enough. I thought, Ben Powers played a pretty solid game from what I've seen. Obviously, the all 22 will do a lot of that this week. Jeremy Crawshaw was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? Which is like, not really a shock to me because it's like, dude, it's a punter. I think he's going to be fine. He was great. He had 3 awesome punts. Yep. You can give him full credit for that second touchdown. To an extent, right? Because it's either a safety. Good thing they didn't call it a safety because I don't think we scored a touchdown if they do. And then Justice Tornado was flying around everywhere.
Great.
And I thought Alex Singleton looked good. So it was like, and then the things we weren't really worried about, like we didn't worry too much about like how Bo Nix was gonna look. Didn't look good.
Yeah.
But thankfully, the defense was as dominant as we anticipated for it to be, man. So it was weird. It was a really, really weird game. And I never want I felt like week 1 games in general are really weird, but Bronco games are always weird. Like I remember last year's Seattle game being so strange because we had like 5 possessions, I think, the whole game.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was just the weirdest game I've ever been a part of. And it's the same thing. So it just might be a Sean Payton thing, man, where he's just like, figuring it out. And it wouldn't surprise me because you see his teams consistently in his time here and in New Orleans. They tend to get better or at least be more competitive as the season goes on. Like, you just see it.
Yeah, no, this was one of those games where you're like, I'm thankful that we were playing the Titans. And honestly, as good as the defense played, they dropped some balls. Cam Ward made a couple throws, especially when he was trying to tie the game there. That was like, dude, if I was a Titans fan, I'd be so mad because he hit people in the hands on like, seams that were just like, oh man, I'm thankful that they didn't catch that. But yeah, no, it was as unlucky and as like frustrating as some stuff was, we were fortunate in a lot of ways too. Like Titans, it was almost like a battle of like who's really gonna screw this game up. You know what I mean? Yeah, there was just so much. I thought Riley Moss made a couple of huge plays.
Big time.
Yeah, it's just mostly that defensive line. Now, Nick Bonito, you got to love the fact that the man gets paid and he's just like, let me go show you why.
It was borderline, especially that second half. It was comical almost. Because I'm sitting there like, are we that good or are the Titans that bad? Or is this what it looks like when you have really good against really bad? Because it was like, poor Cam Ward, he'd say a hike and he's getting like 3 guys just flying at him, So it was crazy. I mean, Hufanga looked really good. Like, there's a lot of positives here, man. But again, like some of the force feeding stuff, Andrew Mason made a really good point. I'd like to get your take on this, but he was saying, the Colts were given the opportunity of playing the Broncos this week in Germany.
Oh.
And they turned it down because the Colts felt like this was obviously going to be a really important game. Obviously, over the last few years, the Colts have been a playoff team or kind of right there. So, the Broncos probably feel the same way. Like this could be a team that could be relevant at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, and he said, maybe they were kind of not wanting to tip their hand as much to the Colts because even Andrew Mason brought that up. So do you think that there's any stock in that or is it just like you're trying, like fishing for things to
no, I could definitely see that. I could see that only because like, we were so confident going into this game that like, why wouldn't some coaches be too? I mean, I understand like not, being, if you're a coach, you can't overlook anybody, especially week 1. How do you overlook somebody in week 1? But at the same time, you had you had it at home. You had a rookie quarterback, never made a start. You didn't have a lot to go off of. Like you thought like you could do some stuff. I think they anticipated running the ball better. And yeah, I could see that. I could see them saving some stuff. It felt like they didn't take any shots, like deep shots.
No, well, they called a lot. And that's where I was really irritated. Like the Bo Nix interception, the Bo Nix fumble, when he got the sack fumble, 110% was on him. It was a shot play called, bro, either take the shot or just throw it away. Right. He was waiting way too long. Yep. They had quite a bit called. I don't know if they just weren't open or if he was hesitating. On the second interception, it was weird because I heard somebody screaming, court, like throw it to Cortland. I don't know if it was a fan, but it sounded like it was coming from the sidelines.
Okay.
And then he guns it. Wasn't to Cortland Sutton. It ended up being to Franklin, and he was late on it. So I feel like they had a lot of shot plays, and they were really trying to be aggressive, and they weren't there. And Bo was just kind of playing fuck it ball. He's like, you know what? Let's see if we can fit it in. But to the point of like overlooking an opponent, I mean, listen, I think that there's a stigma. There's a whole stigma of like, you can't overlook anybody. But I think these coaches, like, it wouldn't surprise me if this happens a lot more often, where especially in week one, because that's why you see a lot of upsets or a lot of close games where coaches are like, dude, like, we don't anticipate the Titans being able to score, let's just say, more than 13 points against us, right? Give it like a number that was close. So as long as we don't really screw this up, like, we can mess around a little bit and still confidently get the win, But then also the whole concept of like not putting things on tape versus putting things on tape. I mean, dude, anybody that's heard the Ed Reed versus Peyton Manning story knows players will put on bad tape and they'll make the wrong plays on purpose in anticipation for an opponent in a few years. Like, these guys are extremely analytical. They're unbelievably smart. It is the true chess game. So again, it wouldn't surprise me, but like, don't make it so obvious if that's the case. Because I felt like today it was like, dude, they're literally just, it's a science experiment, and they're trying to see. Like, yeah, it was really, really weird.
I mean, even to the point where just like, I don't like, to me, that what said it all was the end of the game. You've driven down, you're at the 35, and you decide to go for it on 4th and 8, which it's like, when they marched out there, I was like, okay, they're just going to draw them off. They're going to try to draw them off, take the delay, and then punt to have a little more extra room. Mm-hmm. And when they snapped it, and I think that's what it was almost like, remember when you did like a halftime, like, chat, and I jumped in there and I said, keep it simple, stupid. Like, yeah. And it's just like, nope, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to overthink ourselves. Usually, like, that was the Bill Belichick, New England Patriot, like, classic move where they were just like, let the other team screw up. We'll just not be dumb, and they'll eventually kill themselves. And instead of that, we were like, we're going to try everything under the sun,
And what's crazy, what happened when they kept it simple? 50-yard break off by R.J. Harvey.
Yeah.
Easy touchdown run, J.K. Dobbins. You're like, oh, that's really interesting. What happens on that drive. So it was just like, it was a weird game. But I mean, going through these numbers too, Bo Nix, 25 of 40, 176, a 4.4 average is awful. And in terms of complete, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, he took 1 sack, right? It obviously was very costly. QBR was 19.3, dude.
Wow.
And the overall quarterback rating was 60. And ironically, those are all significantly better numbers than still what Cam Ward has. But obviously, I thought Cam looked really, really good considering the circumstances. And in the run game, 30 carries, 151 yards. That's what you should be gunning for every single week. Now, you take away the RJ Harvey run, it was not good. No. But yeah. We'll see, man. We'll see. This is going to be one of those games where it's like, we'll either look back on it and say I was an anomaly, or we'll look back on it and say, yep, this is kind of who we are now with some of these habits or some of these, quirky things that are being done. So,
yeah, I mean, to me, like, okay, you still got a lot of fresh new parts that you really haven't got to work with. You got Evan Ingram, you got Pat Bryant, you got Franklin's just coming into his own, whatever. You got 2 new running backs. You didn't even play like McLaughlin, and I don't know what was up with Bidet, but like he dropped like a screen early that I was like, crazy. Dude, it was wide open for him. It's driving me nuts. So I don't know. It just felt like they were off, and thank goodness, like, our defense just had us locked in. Because I mean, they got 4 field goals. That's all they got. Mm-hmm. I had picked this game to be 27-13 on horsepower hour, and I was like, all we need is another touchdown. Now I'll be almost right there. But
yeah, you almost nailed it.
But like, that was just one of the straight, like, most frustrating games. I like said in I was thinking about it. It's like that watching that game was like having someone stand right behind me and then like flick me in the air like every minute of the game. like
Yeah,
just so
totally,
annoying. Like
totally.
what? Now you drop it. Now you do this. Now you do that.
Yeah,
So
it
man,
was.
how did you feel about the running back situation today? Besides obviously the Harvey break off, but
I'll break it down. Let me grab a water bottle real quick. 1 second. I'm like dying of thirst.
Yeah. I felt like Harvey was like he showed everything that why you drafted him in that run. And it came from running through the middle and then breaking it off outside. But and nice to get Dobbins. I felt like Dobbins just couldn't get it going at all. And then he got touchdown one that finally broke through. But
Well, I mean, listen, he finished with 16 carries, but like 10 of those were, in the late game portion. I mean, I thought JK looked powerful. I thought it looked good. Like we just didn't have any kind of commitment to it at all. I think what Kodiak says about Bidet, like I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call Bidet it wasn't a good performance, but he showed really good stuff in like pass pro and all that. But here's what drives me up the walls. All right, this is what kills me. Last year, Sean Payton was bitching about it's hard to use 3 running backs, and I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I was like, you're right, because I get it. Like you needed to have Javonte for pass pro. And then you wanted to work in Estime because he brings a little bit of different dynamic. And then obviously Jaleel is your change of pace guy.
yeah,
This year, there is no actual need right now for Bidet. Like if he needs to fill in and have a couple runs here and there to spell a guy, fine. J.K. Dobbins is fully capable of being your third down back, your pass protector. He's one of the best pass protecting backs in the league. He should just do that role, and then R.J. Harvey and him it could just be a two-headed monster. Mm-hmm. So I hate so much seeing so much substitutions. It actually drives me crazy. I'm like, sometimes it's like just keep guys in and let's roll.
yeah,
And so I don't want to see any more of that. Like whether it's Jaleel activated or Bidet activated, like I want to see those guys minimally, or unless there's an injury, whatever. But I want to see RJ, JK, and I want to see them get into a groove. And I feel like, man, it would be hard to get into a rhythm in any capacity if you're just constantly having guys in and out. And then the operation it's already like not all that clean. And so, yeah, I mean, I thought overall, like, I thought the run game was really bad overall. I mean, you had 2 good runs that salvaged the entire day. But it wasn't even like it was bad because the running backs were bad or the offensive line was bad. We just didn't do a lot of it. And like, I mean, you even saw it with Tennessee. Like I thought, Tony Pollard had 18 carries for 60 yards. I thought he had moments where he started getting stronger and stronger once they continuously started giving him the ball.
yeah,
And that's what you see. That's what you see a lot, man. It's like sometimes it just takes guys to get going for things to pop. I mean, look at Derrick Henry's the same. He does it all the time. Derrick Henry rarely starts the game hot, but man, eventually, boom, he breaks it because they stick with it and they give different looks off of it. So we just need to be better at committing to it. And I hated the first half game plan, like in every way. It's like 22 it was it ended up being 9 rushing attempts, I think, a half, but at one point it was like 25 passes to 4 runs. Yeah, that's never going to be okay ever against any opponent.
And going with Kodiak, I think he ripped off a bunch of hits before the game because when we were on horsepower hour and we're like, oh, I think, this guy's going to run for maybe 800 yards and maybe 1,000 yards for Harvey and all this stuff. And then I'm mad at myself for being like, how stupid can I be to think that Sean Payton's going to run the ball? He's not. He doesn't. He's never going to run the ball. He wants Bo Nix to throw the ball every single time. They go out there. I think even like they probably say like run the ball, and then he's just like, oh wait, hold on a second, let's do this, and then it's just, dude,
doesn't do
the
it.
Ball. No,
yeah, and it's like I wasn't surprised by the way the game started. Like the long run by Paul, dude. It's like classic VJ, and I give him credit. I thought he called an unfucking believable game. Like he normally does. But VJ always kind of, the defense will kind of give you some plays early and then they'll adjust and it's phenomenal. And that's what happens today. And on offense, I was cool with it. Like they had a short little pass to Kroll. They were trying to get these drive starters. I'm like, cool. They're kind of setting up the run with a pass. That's fine. And then they just didn't run. They were like, no, we're just going to keep throwing it. Screw it. And that's where it drove me crazy.
Yeah. It was the
That's what drove me nuts.
I mean, obviously everybody's a little like, oh, Bo didn't play well. He forced some, when he finally did decide to run that one, he like shook that guy out of his boots, made
Out of his
like
shoes.
a second and super long into third and manageable. And you're like, okay, this is, something's got to give here. Thank goodness. Like, okay, now we're, it felt like almost, all right, here we go.
Mhm.
And it just was like, then more bad decision making instead of being smart. Like, we could have just leaned on that team. And yeah, I guess, like to summarize, we won the game and we made a billion bad decisions and mistakes, but let's get that out of the system now. You know what I mean? Like, if you have to have those decisions, or if you have to have those mistakes, like get them out in a win that you can move forward. This is not going to be a week where I feel like they're like, oh, this is a W week. That felt like a loss, and it should have been to most teams. And I expect them to look different against the Colts.
Oh yeah. No, I do too. I mean, positives again, also like 6 penalties for 45 yards, not that bad considering how it's been. So the penalties were better. 4 turnovers is crazy. Dude, we fumbled a punt inside of our 20.
Yeah.
And the Titans ended up punting. I mean, it is like you can't even fathom that.
No.
To the point where it's like I was like so much that I was impressed more than like what the hell is going on? Like you never see that happen, And there was so many of those moments in this game, and it was weird. And then you kind of settle in, you kind of start to reflect and look back on it. But this one was just stayed very strange to me. But I expect them to be a lot better against India. This team is weird. They tend to play better on the road. Don't know why, but I feel like they're always at least more cohesive on the road.
Yeah.
And so I hope that translates. Indy looked really good today. And so, hopefully they're preparing for our offense to be really shitty like it was today.
Yeah.
So that we can combat them with some, a really efficient play. But again, I mean, we ended up finishing with 317 yards, time of possession. We won the time of possession battle, but not really by a margin that we should have. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the response, but I'm happy that it's being 1-0 rather than 0-1.
Yeah. And just the last thing is like, it felt like every time the offense was about to get something, it was hard to get stuff going. Cause like, especially that Brownlee guy, he was like interfering every single play. And it was just like, we can't, it feels different to be pass interfered with and you get the yards than it does to catch something and then like feel good about like you executed a play. Right.
Yeah.
And it just was like, I don't know. That was a weird one. But last couple years, we started off slow and it got losses. This is usually a game we lose. The fact that you could have that many mistakes, have 4 turnovers, still win, that's a sign of a good football team, as Mike Shanahan used to say. So I'm not going to be too upset with a win ever, especially in the NFL, but the schedule makers helped us out a little bit on that one. So, remember in the Patriots dominance, they would always come out and get stomped week 1. And then they would like cut some like vet guy that was like, you think was like super integral on their team. And then all of a sudden they rip off like 10 wins in a row. And you're just like, oh, okay. So sometimes these things like focus you in a weird way.
No. I mean, and I even remember a lot of years, like when whether Peyton Manning was with the Colts or he was with the Broncos, like, okay, we would still win a lot. He'd still win games early, but they never looked that good. Like Peyton Manning never really looked all that great early on. Yeah. Obviously he had the 7 touchdown game against, Baltimore that one time, but for the most part, like a lot of his offenses, you could tell there was a big time work in progress because they're very particular on like the little nitpicky things. And once those little things are like solved, they just explode and they just get significantly better. Which is why, you look at a lot of things in the league, man, in week 1, and you really got to take everything with such a grain of salt. I mean, last year, the New England Patriots went into Cincy, beat them, right? And Cincy's like notorious for starting the season off bad, beat them. Mm-hmm. And New England was awful. One of the worst teams in the NFL. They didn't look like it that year. Yeah, And so I think there'll be a lot of that, man. I mean, like the Jets and the Steelers, right? I thought both teams looked really good, but there's a good chance that one or both of those teams are probably going to be really shitty. So you just never know in the NFL. Like the Lions really struggled today. Wouldn't surprise me if they ended up still being one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yep.
It's like even the Rams didn't look all that good in their win against the Texans. So there's always these little quirky things, and you definitely don't want to be peaking now.
No,
Nobody is, but you definitely don't want to be anyways.
Yeah, and you mentioned Peyton Manning. This felt like a 2015 game where the offense can't get it going. The special teams is like, I don't know what's happening. And then the defense is just like saving your butt like over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And you're like, all right, I'll take the win. I don't know how we won that again. And it was like, but that was like every single week. It was like somehow we would be down and we'd get a pick 6 to win or something.
I know.
Like,
the craziest shit.
Yeah, it was so crazy. Yeah. I was impressed with the fact that Cam Ward didn't with as much pressure as he was under, he didn't force anything really. And that was impressive.
It was the first time I can recall kind of feeling bad for an opponent's quarterback.
The first time?
I think so. I think it was the first time I actually felt bad, like genuinely. Because usually I'm like, screw him, I don't give a shit. Like, keep beating him up. And it's not that I wanted us to like take it easy on him, but I was like, damn, this poor kid, like his first NFL start. It's already hard enough to like go to altitude, play on the road. But like he says hike and there's just orange people running at you. That's crazy. Yeah, I thought he was really poised, man. I think he showed a lot of really good stuff, and so we'll see. But we are lucky, man. We're very lucky. So I guess looking ahead for the week, man. I mean, are you gonna do some all 22 stuff? Are you gonna be looking at that, or what are you kind of looking forward to seeing us clean up the most going into the
thing that drove me the most crazy, and I don't know why I didn't mention this before, but like the play calling, getting it in and getting to the line of scrimmage with like under 10 seconds was making me insane. It felt like the Russell Wilson, Nate Hackett experience. I was like, how the heck are we not getting the plays in his second year? And we've simplified things down. And even early in the game, he got mad. It looked like at Sean Payton was like, dude, what is happening? Like, that I need that cleaned up immediately. Like that needs to be right away.
I think it was a little bit, we felt like it was a little bit worse than I think it actually was. But yeah, it's and what's weird is what I noticed too is like he won't start telling Bo the play until all the substitutions are in. So if the substitutions aren't getting out fast, then everything gets delayed. And sometimes Bo, like, he'll get the play in, there's like, 15 seconds on the clock, but then he's got to get people settled in. He's got to move these guys around. He's checking, he's making plays. And so I don't overly worry about that because I know it'll get better. It got better last year. I think it'll only get better. One thing I liked that I noticed from Bo today that I liked, and I was actually really hoping to see, I didn't mention on any of the channels, but I was thinking that would be a place where he can really grow, is his cadence, his being able to like the snap count, to be able to get some people off sides. It worked one time today. We didn't see any of that. He had a couple other opportunities like that too. So I mean, those are little quirks there. But yeah, the operational stuff just kills you, especially at home. That's what I'm saying, man. Sometimes on the road, like we play better because it's like we simplify things almost to where like we can go with a silent snap count. We shorten down the play calls, and we're just out there playing. Yeah, because we never have issues of getting the playing on the road. Yeah, and it should be the opposite. Like at home, you should be able to just be like, "Hey, this is the play." Like no problem.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing where it's like if you think, you stink. It's like we're doing too much thinking out there. We're doing too much. And what was happening was like what I was noticing is like we'd get tackled. I remember one specifically where Cortland caught a football. He got tackled. By the time he stood up and was even like addressing like a first down or whatever, we're down to 35 seconds left on the play clock. And it's like they were like, as soon as that whistle, it's starting, they're hitting the floor, like it's going. And we're just like, we need to just like, I don't know. It just felt like everybody was just a tick slow. Even Mark Sanchez in the broadcast was just like, I don't know what's going on. Everybody's like, it feels like the play clock is flying today. And yeah, they gotta clean that up because a lot of those, they were rushing to the line and then he would be like, oh shoot, there's 2 seconds left. Oh, hurry. And then it was like, now you're rushing the play instead of just executing the play. Yeah. And if we can clean that up, it's just that will go a long ways, I think, to just being more calm. And I think you're right. I think sometimes the road focuses you. So I think going on the road, you know, you don't have as distractions. You don't need to have a million people asking for tickets. You don't have to, you know, have things going on at the house that you just left. And, you know, there's just more of a quiet about your preparation that hopefully that will translate, you know? So,
And I think week one gets you really I mean, everybody's just really
yeah,
overly pumped. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, Kodiak saying the same thing. It was just, yeah, you got the operational, like Sean. Do you notice? I noticed one thing where Sean was like shaking as he's like calling the play in, and I was just like,
I'm telling you, people were like on cocaine today. The whole squad,
so weird. They were serving
everything,
amphetamines
dude.
back then.
I mean, Bo Nick's talking shit like
Uh-huh.
crazy,
It was weird.
throwing the ball like he was. I mean, he was just erratic. Everybody was a little bit juiced up like crazy, and Sean Payton, not, you know, he always has that big ass play sheet. He had an extra little paper on the bottom of it. I'm like, dude, what? This is week one, dude. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why do you have extra plays?
And none of those plays were run plays.
None of them. But it's like it was almost like he was trying to. I don't know, man. There's like it was almost like maybe his goal was to try to get Stidham in the game at one point and like just blow him out early, so we can get the you know, backups in, and then he was just like, you know what, it's not working, but screw it, we need to work on this, so let's just keep running it because we're still in this game. And then okay, I still think we have a chance to win. Let's just keep trying. Like it was very, very strange.
And that I hated that, like when we went for it on fourth down. Okay, so one of the other things is Cortland Sutton doesn't have the situational awareness of when he does a great job of breaking the tackle, and then not knowing where the first down is and getting tackled like right 3 inches short. Which is just like, just dive, dude. Just get the first. At that point in the game, just get the first.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. We go for it on fourth. We decided to run right at T'Vondre Sweat, which is like, if there's one person on the planet Earth that you shouldn't run right at, like last year, remember he would pretend to go and he would like dart off to the left or the right because that was like a softer side. Not this one.
He just ran right into Wattenberg's ass.
Yeah. Wattenberg just got, I don't know what happened, but Wattenberg just completely whiffed, and Sweat was in the background.
I think Sweat just took his feet out, bro. I mean, completely wiped his feet. You just see him fall back. It was ugly. That whole play was ugly, man.
Yeah, and there's
it's like, funny now, but
yeah, but at the time
I'm fuming. I'm fuming.
Yeah,
I'm in the Discord freaking misspelling shit.
Yeah, I didn't even go on the Discord because I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
it's too much. It's too much.
It is.
All right, so thanks for coming in. Like we're gonna be doing these after each game. Typically, we're gonna do it after the game, like right after the game. We couldn't do it today, but this is fun. It probably was better this first game to give me a couple hours to calm myself a little bit.
Yeah,
just because I was so like, I have no idea what I'm even watching right now. It's so crazy. But yeah. If you watch this after the fact, we're going to normally be doing this right after the game. Check out Mark's channel, Marky Sports. Check out mine. It's my handle is Broncos Unbridled. And yeah, man, Horsepower Hour tomorrow night. I think it should be
every Monday.
Yeah,
8 p.m. Mountain.
Check it out. So yeah, any last thoughts on week 1 against the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, my last thought is this. Listen, it's week 1. It's important to keep that in perspective. A win is a win for sure, but we can't sugarcoat that it was up to any kind of standard. I think we're at the point now where we have legitimate expectations for this team for this year and moving forward. And so we need to start judging it accordingly. Like last year, I remember it was like, we'll take it. This is a part of the process. We're not there anymore. So yes, we need to be better. Yes, we need to be a little bit more like strict with how we grade the team. But nonetheless, you know, we can't lose faith in a lot of the things that got us to this point so quickly because of one game. So just try to keep that in perspective. Trust that we're going to do better and enjoy it, man. Try to enjoy it as much as you can, and hopefully we'll have a lot more victory post games and victory Mondays to celebrate. So
yeah,
no, I appreciate you having me on, man. This is always going to be fun, and yeah, definitely make sure you subscribe to Jeremy's channel. Check us out on the post game every single Sunday, and then horsepower hour with the whole gang. You guys already know about that Mondays. So
Yep. All right. Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what happens next week, and hopefully it'll be 2-0. So, all
let's
right,
go.
we will see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.